All right. This is all about the saboteur shadow. And shadow is something that Carl Jung talks about, is what you suppress, bury, what you cover, reject, deny, whether that's your feelings, whether that's your thoughts, whether that's the truth. This is what shadow is. It's an energy pattern. You can see shadow as part of your psyche, and psyche doesn't necessarily mean mind, it means soul, in your body, or in your gut, in your heart. What I want to introduce you to is saboteur, which is actually one of the most difficult shadows. If you see shadows and archetypes and energy patterns as personalities, is actually one of the difficult ones to decipher by yourself. It's very sneaky. You actually think that the saboteur is your friend, yet you constantly sabotage you. The saboteur constantly sabotages your next level, your development, your success, your evolution, your spiritual growth, you becoming nearer to God, you becoming close to God, you're becoming close to your clients, getting money, getting love, getting health, whatever that is. The saboteur actually sabotages what you actually want. And you actually think, when you listen to the saboteur, that he is your best friend. So the saboteur, I see the saboteur, and this is how I've experienced him, as the killjoy. So saboteur is very much the mind killer. It affects your mental health. You actually think you're going mad. When the saboteur is at its highest and it's the most powerful energy that's running your life, you will actually feel like you're going mad. And yet, when you slay that shadow, when you actually face that shadow, it's the most wondrous and joyous experience. This is a brief introduction to the shadow archetype, which actually runs not just within our individual consciousness, but also runs in the collective conscious. It happens in organizations, it happens in families. This doesn't happen just in individual psyches. And the more we become conscious of our saboteur, the more we actually can become close. For me, it's all about becoming close to God. To know yourself is to know your cherisher and your sustainer. For me, it's about becoming God conscious. For other people, it's just about becoming conscious of yourself. And interesting enough, the saboteur always comes and is always the strongest just before you are about to have success. How do you define success? For me, success is being conscious about my workaholism. The success can be being you become closer to God. Success can be about you becoming close to your partner. Success can be you getting some money into your business. Success can be you writing your first draft or you publishing your story. Success is different things for different people. Okay? But the saboteur is always the strongest just before you are going to achieve the success. It always comes and starts whispering in your ear and starts making you feel like you're going mad, starts giving you suicidal thoughts just before you're going to hit that success. And that's where lots of people give up. That's where lots of people either go mad or feel like they're going mad, or they into some addiction, or whatever. They become so frightened, they bail out on themselves and their goals and their dreams. And this is what also happened to me back in October, just before my 25th wedding anniversary on the 9th of October, 2020. And I remember the Thursday evening and the Friday morning felt like all the joy had been put out of me. I didn't even understand why. I just didn't even feel like wanting to get up. And there was like tension in the room between me and my husband, but we hadn't had an argument or anything. I was like, why is this like this? This was it heavy? That's the thing with the saboteur energy. It's not heavy. You feel it more in your head. It kind of attacks your whole head, but you don't feel it in your body. The victim shadow, you feel it in your body. The saboteur, you feel it in your head. And I was like, why? I'm really happy. And I knew it's not coming from me. This is not me. This is the saboteur energy. You want to see that as the devil. You want to see that as shadow. It was the whispering that was just killing the joy. And I was like, man, I'm supposed to be happy. It's like my wedding anniversary. I've got a lovely husband. He's supporting me over these years. And no, it hasn't been easy, but in the last few years, it's been wonderful. And I want to celebrate. And because I've been doing this work to do with shadow and personal development, I think that's really conscious. God, this is how the saboteur feels, looks like. And like, this is the energy. And I remember I just took it 1 second and I just decided I'm not going to listen to the saboteur and I'm going to just enjoy my day. And I remember then I was on my phone and I saw the text from the woman to do with my youngest son's first film, trying to get hold of me so that she could like book a taxi for my son to go to the film screening the following day. And yes, the film screening and he's on BFI. And all of a sudden there was like this deep, massive joy because of my son's film screening, my youngest son, his first movie, that was immense joy. And then the rest of the day and the rest of the weekend, it was just the most magical weekend I've ever had. We had this magical, perfect evening in a restaurant. And then the following day, going to the film screening and see the other actors. And we actually ended up being off the red carpet for my son and then seeing him in the film, the big screen. And that, then I realized this is what the saboteur looks like. This is what the saboteur feels like. And then the same thing has happened recently, and we all get times when we're down, all right? Not going to be human if we didn't, okay? And I did something, and some of you might think this is Tanya sabotaging her business and her success. And I know that was the voice of the saboteur. But yeah, I've killed it, some of it, this energy. You have to do quite a lot of terrifying actions to kill it. A lot of people perceive me online as running a full-time business. And I don't want people to have that perception. I have been running this business and I am still a social worker 4 days a week. And I have been married for 25 years and I have 3 sons. And there's part of me that nearly could have listened to the saboteur saying, "Honey, it's like online suicide for your business. Why are they going to hire you?" Yes, I'm here. If you hire me, I'm going to be here for you 100%. I know I can give you priceless transformations, and I've given people priceless transformations, those who have hired me as a coach. I don't need to be doing this full time. A lot of people don't do their business full time, and yet they're very successful. I put this post out, and it's very grounded in truth, because when you actually stand in the truth, no matter how scary that might be, it always sets you free. I know that because it's grounded in truth, and trust is a big thing in business. Trust and honesty, currency in business. And I know that if I'm not honest and I continue with people's perceptions of me, that just doesn't help. It doesn't help engender trust, but truth engenders trust. And interesting enough, just before I wrote that post, my energy levels were quite low. And necessarily just to business within all those things. Like, it's taking so long. Brand wasn't built in a day. This successful business isn't built in a day. Unlike the stories a lot of people hear of overnight successes, there's usually some who maybe got to 1 million in 10 months or whatever, usually has some kind of experience of business before. Okay? And I'm not going to lie, I'm really good at delivering priceless transformation, right? I'm really good to get rid of anxiety because I've done it for myself. Really good at holding space for people in crisis. I've been doing it since I was 18 years old, right? Nearly 3 decades. I know what I'm good at, and I know what I'm not good at. And the saboteur it wants to know everything, and being this know-it-all kills the success, kills the joy, kills love. kills the opportunity of being close to God. Because the saboteur is like wanting to actually work things out, wanting to have logic and reason and be reasonable. And like it will say, no, this is not reasonable for you to go and do this post. It's not reasonable. You can be totally irresponsible. That's what the saboteur will say. And yet, me going outside of reason and just trusting myself and trusting God, I know that is going to engender trust. I'm not pretending to be full time in my business because I'm not. I work on my business on a Friday, in weekday evenings, a little bit at the weekend, not on Saturdays. Saturdays for my family, right? But the other 4 days, I'm working as a social worker. And I'm not ashamed of it. Why should I be? Social work has given me so many skills to do and help me in my online coaching. I love social work is coaching. I live it and breathe it. And I've been coached for a long time. Coaching is very much part of being a social worker. You're having to really motivate people. You're having to inspire people. You have to lead by example. And so I'm going to go back to how the saboteur, because it's so damn sneaky. It's one of the most sneakiest ones. The other ones are much more easier to figure out. And this one, because you're trying to figure out with your head, is very difficult to figure out. And it makes you lose your mind. You're trying to be responsible. You're trying to know it all. And that just doesn't make you very magnetic. And you don't understand why people don't book that call with you. It's because you're trying to be, you know it all. And there's a very nuanced, subtle thing about people actually crave authenticity. Even that, if that means you being a fool. Because that is what the magician is about. The fool. The real magicians are the fools, but those fools are actually geniuses. When you actually let go and trust and don't listen to the voice of the saboteur, then you feel the magic. Then you feel the closeness to God. Because I know for a fact, Moses did not know that the Red Sea was going to part. He did not know. Yes, he was close to God. He was the prophet, but he didn't know. The voices of the children of Israel, why are you even ever going to coach? Those are the voices of the saboteur. He did not know that the Red Sea was going to part when he was leaving Egypt. That was him trusting God, his intuition, his inner magician leading the way. I saw everything just with the upper, the superficial, because that's what your upper, your mind sees. It sees logic and reason and the spirit, the act, what God wants you to see is God wants you to trust your intuition, which is a higher form of upper. It's when you use your upper intellect and your intellectualism becomes more into a higher intellect. It becomes intuition. I kind of want to talk about, throwing back to the recent weekend, I was feeling really low. I was probably just tired. I'm working as a social worker. I was spending a lot of time trying to support a young person that's coming out of custody. And there was a lot of concerns about this young person, trying to support him and trying to connect people together in doing that, his release plans and God knows what. And as well as I'm building a business in the evenings and also cooking and cleaning and being there for my family. And the saboteur has this thing, why don't you just give up, Sandy? Why don't you just give up? This is taking too long. Saboteur is very much about the mind and it's also about time. So the saboteur always gives you this idea and this feeling that there is no time. You've got to hurry up. Sometimes when the hurrying up happens, you do something really badly. Or it takes a lot of time because the saboteur is very much about the perfectionist. Everything has to be dotted, and each T needs to be crossed. The perfectionism also sucks out energy. We really waste a lot of time. And this is what was happening to me yesterday and the day before. Yeah, happened this morning. I decided not to listen to the saboteur. And by posting about being working 4 days a week as a social worker and that post, it basically killed a lot of that killjoy energy. And I woke up this morning and I already saw it last night. Yeah, like physically I was tired, but mentally I wasn't. My son's second film is now being released, right? In Holly Short's film festival. And today I just feel like, oh my God, I'm going to the world. It's just magical just to see my son and his film getting promoted. And this is what I'm trying to say. The saboteur always comes just before your success. And I know my son's film is not really my success, it's my son's success. As a mum, it's called Best. It's a really beautiful film. It's got so many, I'm not just saying that because he's my son, but, but because it's got a lot of messages, a lot of different messages. And because it's a very unique voice, usually stories are written by people about you. And for me, coming from a Muslim and a Pakistani perspective, a lot of the time I've seen in Hollywood and also in Bollywood, it's written about me. But this film is written from the heart and it's a very powerful, authentic voice. It's a very beautiful film and it just really cuts the crap about how Muslims are depicted, how people of color are depicted. It's filmed in London. Go back to what this life is about. It's about the saboteur and how the saboteur sabotages. And it's always, it's there and it's the strongest and it's like the most loudest and noisiest, just like before you're about to get your success. So just, when you're running the marathon and you've got maybe a meter to go, that's when the saboteur is going to become the noisiest and the loudest. And that's how I see the saboteur. The one that sabotages just before you're going to get there, just before you are actually going to secure your success, just before the magic lands, the intuition lands. And it's all about trust. It's all about you not listening to the voices of the children of Israel. Can you imagine if Musa Islam and Moses had actually listened to the voices of the children of Israel? They'd still be in Egypt. They'd still be slaves. We would still be slaves because I think we're all children of Israel. They all need to be freed from that mental slavery. Nowadays, it's mental slavery. Most of us are not physical slaves. And so that kind of just brings up to one of the things I want to end this live with is that the more you're willing to let go and be a fool, and that's what people are looking for online. That's what people are looking for in business. That's what people are looking for in mentors and coaches, because we can be so damn serious. And sometimes they say laughter is the best medicine. And if you actually remember the shadow and the light archetypes, the energy patterns, they run your psyche. And when you actually slay the saboteur, you slay that energy pattern, you kill that shadow, you slay that idol within you, you wake up your magician, your all the light archetypes, natural way of being. And they all come together. All the light archetypes come together. Slay those shadows, those idols, they wake up and they're activated. Then you actually see in reality energy becoming matter. What matters to you becoming matter. You see it in 3D form. You see that cash in your business account, that partner, becoming more loving, or you find that partner that you've been looking for, or you feel that energy in your body and you find that health, or you feel closer to God. For me, one of the major successes, much more than money, when I started looking and really studying and applying and doing this work, living and breathing Muslim alchemy, it's brought me so close to God. And that for me is the biggest, the best, more than money, my dear. I want to share some of what I've learned with you. And please, please share what you find valuable. I'd like really to know. You can do that privately with me, or you can comment in to the vocalism, share your wins for how you're playing big. And bye.